So I wouldn't go so far as to say the iPhone Air is a controversial phone, like some might say. My opinion is that people can be a little controversial and dramatic about something. So in this video, we're going to be discussing everything I feel is wrong with the iPhone Air. All right, guys, welcome back. It is time to get into a list of things that I had already prepared before I bought the phone, but now that I have the phone, it's confirmed. These are some reasons why you probably should avoid the Air and go with a different iPhone. So we're going to be talking specifically just to iPhone people because there are a lot of iPhone users out there that are interested in buying the iPhone Air, but they're on the fence for whatever reason and they don't want to leave their current iPhone. Now, just so you know, this is the rear camera on the iPhone Air, and I have my DJI mic Mini plugged into it just to give you some of the better audio. And the iPhone Air's audio is good, but this will give you tremendous, nothing beats a plug-in microphone or just some kind of external microphone over phones. So with that said, you're looking at the rear camera of the iPhone Air. So that's why you're not going to see me hold it up or anything like that. So let's get this going. I've come up with four things in the 4 days. I'm going on 5 days, but four things I've noticed right away. And like I said, I knew this before buying the phone, but it wasn't a deterrent for me. So here we go. Price. This phone is $999. Now I didn't pay $999 for it, but still, because I get a government and military discount. So, but I still paid a nice, I paid for it, but I didn't pay 1,000 plus tax. So price though, not everybody has any kind of discounts or coupons, or you're just paying $1,000 for the phone. So the reason the price is the reason you should avoid it. If you're a person who uses iPhones, and I'm getting a lot of comments from people from previous generation iPhones, like they have older iPhones and they really want to know if they should get this phone because they really love the design, they love the screen size, a bunch of different things about it, but they're caught up on the price. So iPhone users, if you're just looking at price and that is your only deterrent, and you just really don't want to shell out $1,000, just stop here. Don't get it. Go for something. It's actually right here in front of me. Go for something like the iPhone 16e. This costs a lot less, and folks, you really could get. While you don't get a lot of the features that are on the iPhone Air, you don't get the hardware. I mean, you do get a nice phone. I've been using the Air alongside this 16 E, and I've been using 16E since it launched. This is a good phone. It's a very good phone. And the reason I say go for the 16E is because you're still getting that you're getting like a more minimalistic phone, and it's much lower in price, almost half the price, a little more than half the price, and you're still getting some good options. So you can get a big memory size. So for the price of a 256 gig Air, you can get this is a 512 gig 16E. You see? And I think the price went down on this too, now that the phones were released. But you're gonna get the same. I upgraded mine to the latest software. You're gonna get the same experience overall for iOS. You just spend a lot less money and you have some nice colors to choose from, just like on the iPhone Air. And if you want to go even lower than that, your other options, or you just want to get a dual camera lens. In the same launch, Apple introduced the iPhone 17. Now, it actually got some really nice upgrades over the 16. It's got a bigger display, you get a lot more features in it. So it's really good. That's another option, but it's still $800. So a lot of people would tell you, oh, you shouldn't get the Air because you can get a 17. Well, $1,000 and $800, that's not too far apart. So, but if price is a thing, there's plenty of other iPhones that you can get, because $1,000 is a lot of money for a phone. Heck, even $800 is a lot for a phone. So price being an option for you, something like a deterrent from you from the Air, step away, look into some of the more affordable iPhones out there, and then also look at some of the previous generation iPhones. They're still a very good, and they all got the update. They all got the new iOS 26 update. So it's a win-win. You miss out on, the features. If you end up going with the previous gen, you miss out on the 18 megapixel front camera. You miss out on, the Pro processor. You miss out on a few things with the Air. But ultimately, you need to save money. So if you want an iPhone and you have a previous gen that's older than these, just go with a 16 or a 16E. Or you could, I feel like the $800 versus the $1,000 on the Air. Yes, there's a few things that are different in price, but we'll talk about that next. So price, plenty of other options for you if that's just your only thing. The next thing on the list that I've thought about that might be a deterrent for you is the single camera that it has. Now, while it does have the 18, all the new iPhone lineup, the 17, and then the Air doesn't have a 7, it's just the Air. They all got the same front camera setup, which is absolutely stunning, folks. It's a great, I've already shown multiple clips with the front camera. It is absolutely great. And the rear camera, it's kind of that thing that Apple did before. It's like having two cameras in one. This is a single lens, but it has multifunctionality. And the same thing is with the Air, but the Air's quality is a hair better than the 16. But this is a deterrent for people. If you want an ultra wide or a telephoto, and again, we're not even going to bring Android into the mix because right out the rip, Android has way more options than Apple does for phones. You can get way more for a lot less on Android. But I'm talking to people who want an iPhone, who's using an iPhone, who's not leaving an iPhone, who's trying to come to an iPhone, whatever it is. There are plenty of other iPhones you can buy with a dual camera setup. Now, as I was getting ready to speak of before, you'll hear people saying, oh, you should just get the 17. It has this, it has this, it has this, it has this. They're not wrong. I've said it before. The 17 offers an ultra wide, and you guys know I'm an ultra wide person. I love using the ultra wide cameras for vlogs or just getting more. I'm not a telephoto person. I'm an ultra wide person. So for vlogging purposes, but take a look at the distance on this rear. Okay, so I'm vlogging right now, folks. This is just the iPhone set up on a tripod in my office on my desk. And I got to tell you, it's not far from me. It's less than an arm length away. Now, I do have longer arms, but it is much closer than you think. So vlogging with this camera, this single lens, won't be bad. And especially the front lens. The front lens is very wide. It's very good, but it is a single lens. And we're not going to give them a pass per se, but this camera does have functionality. So if you're a person out there who feels like you have to have a dedicated ultra wide or a dedicated telephoto, you can get the iPhone 17, the 16, or any of the other iPhones that have two cameras, some three. If you go back into the refurbished section of Apple's website, they've got a whole bunch of pro models and stuff that you could buy for the price of this phone. So that's another reason why you probably should avoid this phone if you are curious about, man, I wonder. Now, the thing is, this camera is great. You're looking at the quality. It's actually really solid. I have one LED above it, and that's it. The whole office is dark, and I just have that one spotlight going above it. And it's on a tripod, and that's it. So the camera quality is phenomenal. But if you just really need, and you don't like digital zoom, because the digital zoom on this is pretty good, but it's still not a dedicated telephoto lens. So if you're that person who has to have an ultra wide, who has to have the telephoto, avoid this phone. Get a 17, get a 16, get any of the other iPhones that have a dual camera setup. It's pretty simple. And also, most of those will cost less. This all goes together. Most of them will cost less than this phone coming in at $999. Most of them will. So just bear that in mind, because you've got the 15, the 16, the 14, the 13. You got that entire lineup, but you're going to miss out on, again, some pro features and things like that. You won't have the same camera. There's pros and cons to everything. But this video is just me kind of pointing out some reasons, 4 reasons why I think you might want to avoid this phone, because this video is based off of your questions and your comments saying, why would I get this when I can get this? Or shouldn't I get this? Or is there anything other than the iPhone Air that could be more, for me? And this is the video for you. So price, single lens, and the next one is single speaker. Now, I'm using the iPhone Air. And what I've run into is a lot of people are saying, well, I use my phone for speakerphone. Let me answer this question. Yes, the phone is very sufficient. It's more than enough for speakerphone. But if you're in a loud environment, obviously a stereo speaker setup is going to be a little bit louder. I've already done a speaker test proving that the Galaxy S25 Edge and probably every dual speaker phone is going to be better than this single speaker. Should Apple have done 2 speakers? absolutely. I am not giving them a pass on this phone, but I'm just using it and trying to enjoy it and find a way to nap like I do with every phone review, folks. Every phone I buy, I don't harp on everything that I feel like is wrong with it. I just use it and see how it fits my lifestyle. And currently, these things that I'm listing, they don't affect me, but they might affect you. So having a single speaker, you're not gonna be able to use this in a loud environment for speakerphone. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised how many people now all of a sudden use speakerphone. And I say that based on previous videos. Oh, I don't care about that. If it has, because this is coming from people who, or the videos where it was a stereo speaker and it wasn't as good as they thought it was. Oh, I have Bluetooth anyway. Oh, I just use headphones. Now that Apple does it, everybody seems to think that Apple gets a pass from every content creator or every influencer. Sometimes you're right, but I'm not that person. I'm going to give it to you straight like I always do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to give you a good phone review. I'm going to give you multiple videos on the item. I'm also going to call out the things that you're calling out. So you wanted a speaker test. I gave it to you, and the iPhone does. This phone doesn't compare. Doesn't even compare to the S25 Edge speakers, and that's a thin phone as well. So that lets me know Apple could have put a stereo speaker setup in here, but they said they didn't for what? Battery, more battery? Okay. Okay. It's nothing I can do about that. If you think some of us are giving that phone a pass, no. But let's transition on to that. The last thing, battery life. Now, I bought this battery right here because it was something that's available for the phone, but I don't need to use this battery. But I wanted to test it out there for people that might have questions on whether they should buy it or not. When I did my 24-hour impressions on this phone, I said you should buy this. You probably won't need it, but throw it in a backpack. Now, the reason I put battery on here for a reason, I'm not saying, again, these things I'm talking about, they don't really apply to me. But these are individual questions I keep getting about this phone. So I'm grouping them all together in this one video. But battery size and battery performance, folks, always depends on you. You determine how that battery is going to be. It doesn't matter what the size of the battery is. It does not. Some people think that because a phone has a low battery number, that it's going to be bad right away. Everybody said that about the Galaxy S25 Edge before they even got their hands on it. They said the battery was trash. It's going to be trash. It's a thin phone. It's going to have heating issues. None of those things exist. The Edge doesn't have heating issues. It doesn't have poor battery. None of these things. And the same rules apply for the iPhone Air in my usage. Now, I put that on here as a deterrent for some people because some people, they'll use the phone for 2 days and then say it's trash and they had to get back and they didn't like it. But I've been using this phone for over 4 days and the battery life is great. The first couple of days, I tested it with this. The first 24 hours, I tested it with this. First 48 hours, I tested it with this. Phenomenal battery. Didn't charge the phone. Now that I'm not using this, I charged it once in 36 hours. That's how good this phone's battery is for me. So what you need to understand is you'll get some people that instantly run into the comments of videos and say, the phone's trash, this, and this is wrong. But they use the phone for like a day or two. And then they want to hurry and get that money back and get a refund just to have something to talk about, I guess. I don't know. But I tend to do reviews like that. On every phone, I try to give you at least 4 to 5 videos. And I try to follow up all the time. I'm not saying I'm doing anything better than anybody else. I'm just saying I owe it to you. I have the voice. I'm making this video to answer your question. And it's those 4 comments that keep coming up. And it just happens to be 4 things I say, you know what, this could be a deterrent for someone. But battery life isn't a deterrent for me because I have only apps on my phones that I'm going to use. It's predominantly a lot of like stocks and banking apps. Those are the main things, and like security stuff. Those are the things I use a lot. And I use the cameras a lot. Lots of photos, lots of videos. Now, I'm saying a lot, but all of it doesn't go to YouTube. It's like personal stuff, like family stuff. Hey, let me video chat with my granddaughter, or let me video chat with my daughter. Let me call whoever. Let me call my wife. Let me do anything. Cameras get used a lot for me, and that could be a battery drain. But this iPhone Air, I listed it as a deterrent because I've seen a few comments, people saying, oh, I had it for 48 hours. It was trash. I couldn't make it through a day. Okay. I believe you. However, I think when you're buying a phone, this is smartphoneconversations.com. That's a plug. When you're buying a phone, give it a week to a week and a half, close to two, because I think that I don't know the return policy is 2 weeks. I avoid doing returns. I make a decision. I live with it. If it okay, I do catch and releases, but it's got to really be bad, and I've been truthful about that. But the battery life on here, I get it. Some people, they are really heavy users. They have nothing other to do but stay on their phone all day. Now, some people might use it for, you know what I find funny? People using the battery life on phones and they're doing Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff. Every time I've gotten into an Uber, the person had their phone plugged in. Why don't you do that? You're going to be in your car all day. Why are you riding around in your car with the phone unplugged and then saying the battery's bad? You're using GPS 24 hours a day, son. Who would do that? I digress. Those four things: price, speaker, camera, and battery. Those are reasons to avoid the iPhone Air. If those areas are, if you feel like they just won't fit your lifestyle and you just don't want to give it a try. But if you give it a try, if you buy this phone, just like I bought it, if you buy it, give yourself at least a week, week and a half. And then if it's still the same for you, then return it. But I can't review a phone in 2 weeks. I can't do it. I got to give it a chance. I got to give you more content. I got to give it to you for real. I guess I want to say I got to really use it. And that's what I'm doing. And I like to use the products to show you the quality of the products. That's why I'm using the iPhone Air to record this video. Now, yeah, I have the DJI Mic Mini plugged in, but you can rest assured the iPhone Air's microphones are really good. I've already put clips of them online. On windy days, the microphones are great on this phone. And I'm using the rear camera, but folks, the front camera is off the charts. It is good. They did a phenomenal job. So, with all that said, the price of this phone isn't a deterrent for me, even though it's a high-priced phone. The reason it's not a deterrent for me is because I make revenue on YouTube. So it just kind of pays for itself. That's the truth. That's why I buy all the phones that I want, because there's a return for me, but there won't be a return for you more than likely. So you're buying into this hype and you need to get your money's worth. And I'm going to tell you, try to get the lowest price, because I'm not just going to tell you why you should avoid the phone. I'm going to give you some reasonings to, if you could get it, or whatever your situation may be. If you think the price is too high, look for family and friends discounts. Do anything to try to get it. If you just really want it, try to get the lowest price possible. I don't finance phones on carriers, but if you've been with your carrier for more than 2 years, definitely put it on your carrier, because they will give you $1,000 for a phone that if you try to go to Apple, they give you $200 for. Stay with it. Go with it. Yeah. So if the price is an issue, get it on a carrier, get some kind of promo, get some kind of discount. Yeah, do that. Now, the camera situation, that's one that you just can't avoid. If you just really feel like, and I'm telling you the distance on this, I'm less than an arm's length away, and it's got good range on it. However, I get it. If you just want to have a physical camera for it, just turn away now. Just don't even bother with this phone. It doesn't physically have them. It doesn't have an ultra wide. It doesn't have a telephoto. You know this going into it. So avoid it. Don't buy it and then complain about that and saying, oh, the range was horrible. I need an ultra wide. I need a telephoto. Why buy it if you know it physically doesn't have it? So avoid it. Now, the single speaker, questionable. I've seen some people that's not me that are saying in the comments, the speaker's great, the speaker's fine. Then I've had other people saying it's trash. Neither one of them are wrong. That's just their opinions. Like I'm giving my opinion. Word. See what I'm saying, son? So that's something you can't avoid. Either you're going to like the speaker or you're not going to like the speaker. Yeah, that's all that is. Now, as far as battery life goes, I'm a firm believer that depends on you. It could have 1,000 milliamp hour battery. You're still going to have people that say, man, I made it 2 days. You can have people say, I made it only a half a day. That's just how it goes, son, with anything. Now, this phone has a 3150 milliamp hour battery. You do not need this. There's plenty of people that don't have this and they're still reporting battery life is good. But I said, this is an exclusive product that they released for this exclusive phone. Technically, this isn't the iPhone 17 Air. This is the iPhone Air. So if you know Apple, they're showing you what they're getting ready to do. You know what I'm saying? So they're showing you a direction they want to go in. And depending on how well this phone is received, That might be the reason for them to make more or not make more. They may try one more time. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is I like the iPhone Air. Bars. Man, it's just in me. So that's my thoughts on the iPhone Air and your questions answered. Reasons why you shouldn't buy the iPhone Air. Those are the 4 reasons why I think you shouldn't. And you should just avoid it or work it out in your plan on why you think you should buy it. Now, I'll be following up again with this device way more because, like I said, I don't think this is a controversial device at all. I think people can be a little controversial for all the wrong reasons. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.